It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 120. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, March 16th, 2025. A great day for a podcast about video games and more, and that is what I am here to do. So I hope you're doing great out there in the world, wherever you are. Hope things are going your way. Hope things are turning up. Hope things are looking better. Hope things are feeling good out there in the world. And thank you for being here. The first order of business is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. I've been streaming the past couple Sundays in the afternoon, United States time, so if you'd like to check that out, I've been doing that. I plan to do that today as well. I've been playing some Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, so please come check me out on twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show. And then if you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. And then Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show. So for today's show, episode 120, we're going to have our three sections as always. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing, what is going on in my video game rotation, have I picked anything up, and what is going on with my video gaming habits. So that's the first section of the show, usually short and sweet. The mid section of the show, the middle section, is the most important. It's where I tell you about what is going on around the video game world that you need to know. So all the news and releases and information and rumors and speculation that I find important from the week, I come here every Sunday and present them to you. So that's the mid section of the show. Third section is anything but video games, the miscellaneous talk section. And I usually catch you up with what is going on with my favorite sports teams, since I am a big sports fan, and you can enjoy the journey a lot of times through the lows instead of the highs for my video game, my sports fandom. So that's usually in the miscellaneous talk section. So that is the show, and that is the plan for Dep Lewis Show, episode 120 today. So welcome to the show. Hopefully, I'm trying to think what you're playing out there in the world. Some new stuff would be Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm trying to think. People are going crazy over buying Pokemon cards as a new thing. Not a new thing, but they're going extra crazy buying Pokemon cards these days, and a lot of people are speculating on when that is going to end. And what else? There's been some college basketball going on. March Madness is about to start, so maybe we'll talk about that in the next upcoming weeks. But that's everything I can think of just for random entertainment things going on. But what have I been playing? So last week, I mentioned this, and I completed a video game. The first game I've completed for 2025 is Gears of War 4. Oh yeah, a very current game. But Gears of War 4 has been completed by myself. I've now beaten the first 3 and this game, and I have plans to play 5 in the future. So I don't know if I'm going to jump right into playing 5, but I'm glad to get this game checked off. I'm a really big fan of the Gears of War franchise, especially the first 3. And this Gears of War 4 is just one of those games I've started a few times and never really completed all the way through. So I think it was a great game, a good game. I don't think it's better than any of the first 3. But I think it's a strong effort in the Gears of War franchise. It has the combat that everyone knows and loves. Nothing really changing it up too much there. I would just maybe want to see some more variety in the environments. And they only saved I don't think there were too many vehicle scenes except for one. I don't really want to spoil, I guess. I don't know if you probably played Gears of War 4, but at the end there's a really big vehicle scene is all I'll say. And I remember there being more of those in the first few games. So yeah, I wrote they finished with the mech scene. That's a little bit of the spoiler there, but the whole game ends with you not actually being on the ground, boots on the ground shooting. So I was a little surprised by that, maybe let down, but the whole last final battle of the game, you're in like a giant Gundam and you're fighting this giant enemy. And then it's a pretty big fight with that guy. And then the cutscenes play and the credits roll and the game's over. So it was definitely a little bit surprising. When I went to stream it last Sunday, I didn't realize how little I had left, but it was really, maybe 20, 30 minutes of gameplay, so not a whole lot. I was pretty close. So I'm trying to see what else I wrote, because this was last Sunday. I finished Gears of War 4, so pretty happy about that. Yeah, there was an end cutscene, kind of like Marvel. After you wait for the credits, there was something going on, and there was also the character who's going to be starring in 5 found her mom at the end, but it was a bad ending for the mom. So, more to come in Gears of War 5 is the story here. So back on the Gears of War train a little bit, and that is it. I plan to play Gears of War 5 at some point. We have Gears of War E-Day coming out. I believe next year is the target for that, but no really firm release date on Gears of War E-Day, which is a prequel to everything. But I had some fun with this game. this is still a fun game to shoot enemies in and do some cover. And really, that's about it. The story is really light, and I like that about it. And it's very breezy and fun to play through, and just really, really focused on the combat. So Gears of War is fun. Check it out, especially if you want to play some co-op. It's just extra fun in co-op, but it is totally fun solo as well. So I've been on the streaming kick a little bit here the last few weekends. And something else I played last stream was Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda. I got a full set of Hylian armor, was the update there. I updated the colors to green, so very cool for me. And I put the fairy spell on all 3 pieces. I completed a few shrines, I made some money. I'm getting better horse riding around the world, so I am becoming more proficient in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've never completed a Zelda game, so this is my next attempt at trying to do so. And I kind of plan on my Sunday streams to basically play this game until I give up or complete it. So that's the plan, and I don't plan on giving up. And the other game I'll play that I've been thinking of is Splatoon 3 if another Splatfest comes up. So those are my main games I'm thinking of for stream time, and I'm excited and having fun. Like last week, it was really easy to play that game for a couple hours, and the time was flying by. So I think that's a good sign. I think there's only more good things to come with Breath of the Wild, and I'll be excited to get to a point where there's content I haven't seen, because I probably completed 20 or 30 hours in a original playthrough, and I've restarted recently, so back into the Breath of the Wild. So please check me out on a Sunday, most likely, playing some Breath of the Wild on the internet. And today, March 16th, 2025, that is the plan as well. So I'm trying to think what else is going on with me with video game stuff. I've been playing some more Metroid. I've been flirting with a lot of Metroid content recently. I've been playing the Prime Remastered, poking at some of that. And in the prior week, I've played some more of Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance, which has been extremely fun. I'm in a section now where it's a little bit of a taller objective, so I have to complete 4 things to keep moving on. And I've gotten through a couple of them. It's pretty fun. I've been, playing through, dying and respawning and trying again and having complete fun with it, and, treating it more as a platformer in a sense than actual fighting, because some of the areas you're really just going to have to keep trying to get better and better and learning the pattern recognition of the enemies. And I just really love the whole environment of these games. This thing really draw me in. I think Samus is an extremely cool character, and this is definitely a franchise I have been missing out in my video game life. So I've been on the Metroid kick for sure. Been playing Metroid Prime Remastered in some past weeks. I've been playing Fusion. I've been playing Metroid Dread, so that's when I started back up again too. So another game I maybe played 5 hours of before I started a new file, and learning that the Emmys are extremely scary. That is a unique brand of being scared in video games that many games do not do. I think this is kind of like a PUBG emotion that it elicits out of me when the Emmy is chasing you down, and hopefully I can gain control over my emotions during those times, because it is difficult, and they are scary, and they are persistent, and the music is haunting, and it's just really atmospheric and cool. So a whole lot of things I like about this. I just need to be a little bit tougher, which I can certainly do, and get into some more Metroid games, and completing one of those would be amazing. So that is definitely on the docket for myself. So this is all the first section, talking about what's going on with me in the video game world. So that's been the main things I've been playing. I picked up a copy of Persona 3 Reload, was a pickup. Best Buy was selling this for, I think it was $24.99 for a PS5 version. So I picked this up. I played this previously some on Game Pass on Xbox, and now I've loaded it up on the PlayStation 5 and have started some of that. And the music in that game is S tier. It's God level. It is whatever legend status, GOAT status, whatever you want to say. That music in Persona is amazing, and this game is, and they're all a little bit unique. So definitely a huge plus to even leave the menu on, or the pause menu, or whatever menu, or leave it in game with the music playing if you want some nice music going through your house or whatever. So a really cool pickup. There's a lot of sales going on. We're going to talk about some of those in the midsection of the show, but it was you don't usually see PlayStation 5 games that inexpensive and new. So pretty cool pickup. And what else have I been playing? I played some Super Mario Galaxy. I played some of that last week. I played some Borderlands, a lot of random things. I've been playing a lot. I've been playing, I would say a lot of a little, but I've just been playing a lot of random stuff this week and having fun with a lot of it. And I'm glad to say I've completed a game for 2025, even though it's a prior year game. So at the end of the year, I like to rank my favorite new game from the year, and I like to rank my favorite game from a prior year. So currently, Gears of War 4 is the best game from a prior year because I really enjoyed it, and I have no other games on that list. So hopefully some other games are going to come flooding in, and that is the plan here for me. So that's everything going on with me in the year of no direction. Previously, I've had the year of survival horror, I've had the year of the RPG, and the year of no direction so far with the Dep Lewis Show for my personal gaming habits. So year of no direction has been fun, and it has finally resulted in a game completion. So that is everything going on with me. We're going to take the first break of the show. We're going to hear some lovely break music. We're going to come back for the midsection where I tell you about everything that's going on around the video game world. So everything you need to know from releases and rumors and speculation and cold hard facts from across the internet. Then come to the midsection or stay for the midsection after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 120. This is where I tell you about what is going on around the video game world that you need to know. So one of the big items from last week was Death Stranding 2, an upcoming video game. Actually, it's called Death Stranding 2: On the Beach. It's an upcoming video game, and they released a around 10 minutes in length trailer that you can go watch right now on YouTube if you'd like to. So I did not watch this whole trailer, but this is a game I definitely have some interest in, and I totally think it is cool. So the other bit of information from Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is they have announced the release date. It's going to be June 26, 2025 for Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. And in this game, you are going to embark on an inspiring mission of human connection beyond the UCA. And I did not immediately know what the UCA was, so that would be my note here as a noob. That has to be something pretty clear from the first game, but reading the back of the box talk, I didn't immediately know what the UCA was, and that might just be me being a dummy. But in this game, there's a character named Sam with companions by his side, sets out on a journey to save humanity from extinction. Join them as they traverse a world beset by otherworldly enemies, obstacles, and a haunting question: should we have connected? Step by step, legendary game creator Hideo Kojima changes the world once again. So, a very interesting game. Hideo Kojima, known for Metal Gear Solid fame and those amazing video games, and Metal Gear 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I need to play some Death Stranding 1. I think that would be the plan before getting into 2, because I think these games have some sort of a, not like necessarily I guess there's probably a story correlation, but I think more importantly there's like a thematic correlation between these two games. In the first game, it was all about building these connections. In this second game, it looks like it's going to be talking about what happens when those connections are fully built, or some of the ramifications from that have taken place, cause and effect from these connections being made. So some pretty cool stuff, and I think the gameplay in this game is actually fun too. There's definitely some nice looking scenery from what I've seen, and it's very visually striking, and that definitely draws me to it as well. Some of the the BB, I think they call them, stuff is a little bit, I don't know, I think it's into into the horror and gore. Some of the body horror stuff I don't enjoy. It's just kind of, I don't know, there's something off-putting about it to me, and it's not the most fun thing to look at. But that might be my only knock and one of my only apprehensions about starting this game. But definitely looks cool. Death Stranding 2, new trailer out right now, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. It really is just easier saying Death Stranding 2 in this first time trying it. But the release date has been announced for June 26, 2025 is the real big news there. So a big time summer release in a year that we're saying there's not a ton of releases, which I may be disagreeing with as someone who's following games closely. But there's definitely not a lot of, this one will get marketed very heavily, and is definitely going to be a standout release from the year, unless it's a really, really terrible game on the back end. But Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, releasing June 26, 2025. All right, some more games. Another game that's releasing soon, and something I am a fan of the source material, is MLB The Show 25 is releasing on March 18th. So that is in the upcoming week, only a couple days away, for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. So you can get your yearly video game update. And MLB The Show is, I don't know if they've ever released a bad video game, so you can pick up really any of these. But if you want the updated rosters and the most up-to-date graphics or whatever it may be, or fine tunings that MLB The Show is trying to do, then pick this game up. But it has the first ever trio of cover athletes: Paul Skeens, Ellie De La Cruz, and Gunnar Henderson. And in this game, they want you to ignite your passion and build your very own path to greatness. So MLB The Show is definitely something I played a lot more back in the day on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era, and I guess maybe some on the 4, but mainly on the 2 and 3, I guess. And have played some in recent years, but I do a lot more baseball watching, and I only have so much time in a life to be doing those kind of things. So I think that's kind of how some of my sports game playing has faded off. It's just, you kind of really can't do it all. It could take up all your time with how many sports there are, how many sports I like, and then if you're trying to play the video games alongside of them, it's just it's a tall task. So MLB The Show 2025 or MLB The Show 25 releases on March 18th in the upcoming week if you're listening to this podcast in real time. So one of the best things with sports release video games, or when a sports video game releases, is that the season that it is representing is going to start soon. So we're going to talk about that in the third section of the show, but the baseball season starts in the upcoming week as well. So there are some very good things going on the baseball front. So staying over on so MLB The Show, it's available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. So it used to be just a PlayStation thing. And I was going to say, keeping in with PlayStation news, but MLB The Show 2025 is multi-platform and has been for a while. But PlayStation Store, some news there. There's a mega March promotion sale going on. So something good to make you aware of. If you want to pick up some digital games, you can definitely get some really good deals on stuff. Pick up on some things you haven't picked up in the past, or get some discounts on some brand new games that you've been wanting to pick up as well. So definitely some good stuff going on there. Nothing in particular that I noticed. I thought about picking up the Contra collection again. I think it's $3.99, but I own it on Switch, and I've just been on a little bit of a Contra kick this year and thought could be cool to have it on another platform, but that is just one of those random things. But there's definitely some really, really good deals going on the PlayStation Store if you like to buy digital games. It's going on currently and it ends on March 26, 2025. So you have a little over a week if you're listening to this podcast in real time to pick up some digital sales on the PlayStation Store. So switching over to Xbox and the Microsoft side of things, we're going to talk about some rumors that are going on. None of these next two are confirmed, but I want to bring them up on the show because I like to bring up these rumors. You never know if they're true. Sometimes they are true, so it's just fun to talk about and speculate either way. But Xbox, it's been rumored that they are going to be selling a handheld, and there is a rumor that it's going to be sold this year. So the things I've heard, it's going to be in the $500 range and up. It could be manufactured by a third party, so not necessarily Microsoft. So it could be some company like Asus, Lenovo. I don't know I can't immediately name any other ones, but some other company, hardware manufacturer is most likely going to be making this thing, which is an interesting thing for Xbox. And I think that's kind of a first for Microsoft not to manufacture some of their own hardware in-house. I'm trying to think about, I've heard some podcasts talking about that. I'm trying to think if there was a negative or an opposite example, but it's not immediately coming to mind. There might have been one small thing, but they're normally making their own hardware. So this would be a little bit of a change from their normal business as usual. So it'll be interesting to see. So the rumors are saying this is going to be revealed in the summer and released later in 2025. None of this is confirmed on an Xbox handheld, but these rumors have been going on for a while now. So there has to be some, like the smoke and fire, blah, 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 whatever that phrase is. Has to maybe be some truth here. And we have seen a rise in these like computer handhelds. And why would Xbox not want to get into the market? I guess it's a little bit of a gamble trying to compete with the Nintendo Switch coming out this year, but they are kind of going for different things. Nintendo has its own exclusive games, which is really the biggest draw. And then the Microsoft side's going, a connection between Xbox and basically being a handheld PC. So some pretty cool things there. So that's one of the rumors for Xbox, is a handheld upcoming. I think I would have some interest in this. I've had interest in Steam Deck ever since it's been announced. But it's just a case of, how many video game options do I need? I still have bought a few like old consoles recently and buying games, different games from time to time and things like that. I don't know how many more handhelds I need, especially when I want to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know if I would want to buy an Xbox handheld that same year. Even, if money wasn't an option, I would certainly like to have one. But I would definitely choose, from this point in time, thinking about it, I would definitely choose buying a Switch 2 over an Xbox handheld. But I think it's a cool option, something I'd be tempted to want to buy for sure. And I'm interested in. So yeah, I guess the only one negative thing here is I've heard you won't be able to play your library of games, or it'll be more of like an AirPlay, or it'll be like a smaller library of things. So I think that's one part that could be pretty negative. I don't think it's going to exclude your digital games. I think that's what it exactly would be designed to do, but I am not sure. So there were some talks of like limitations on game library on it. That would maybe be the one concern I heard from this, other than the price being really expensive. But a lot of these handhelds are going for that price range, so I think it's pretty aligned with where the market is right now. So Xbox handheld in the rumors. I would definitely keep you updated on this show if there are more rumors in the future. So the other thing that was spoken of, I don't know how many more details of this, but Xbox already has plans for the next console, potentially in 2027, a full next-gen Xbox, and it's not really too hard to imagine. I think the normal tip one, or like kind of one of the average life cycles of a console, is about 8 years. the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 released in 2020. 2027 is 7 years. Xbox isn't really doing a mid-gen refresh like PlayStation 5 or the Pro, so I don't think it's too ludicrous to think that there could be a new Xbox console in 2027. A lot of people worry it's going to be digital only, but we'll see. I don't think that one's too crazy of a rumor. I'm glad to hear they're not trying to say it's like this year or next year, because I really do not think there is a need. I think these consoles, even though, through the course of time, we're 5 years in on the life cycle, I don't think they've had a lot of reason to exist at this point. I don't think we've really gotten that many games. I think kind of just recently with some of these games that are coming out that people are playing on PC, like Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't know how those are running on console, but I think you need these new consoles to run them. And other games like Monster Hunter Wilds, I think, are in that same category. So I think we're finally seeing, appropriate games running on these consoles, and we're just seeing them 5 years in. So talking about the next console is a little bit of a negative to me, and just maybe something that's shifting in myself where, even with the Switch 2, I really want to hear what software they're going to have, but I'm perfectly fine still playing the Switch 1 at this point. So they really need to have a good reason to upgrade, or it's going to become more of like a phone thing to me, where I don't know if I've ever cared about having the newest phone. I like having a more up-to-date one, but more and more I don't follow like new releases of new phones or anything like that. And I wonder if that's going to happen on the console side of things to me as well, and to the general public out there in the world that I'm speaking to. So I don't know, but Xbox new console possibly in 2027. Not a lot of other news about that. It's just rumors and speculation, but fun to talk about either way. So some more Xbox stuff. I think this one is an actual plan. Xbox is looking to implement some AI, and they're calling it like a co-pilot for gaming. So they're launching an AI gaming coach/friend that can help you improve your skills and provide assistance on games. It aims to solve time management issues for players and provides in-game assistance. So I think it's fine, as long as it's not like hard to turn off or anything like that, which I'm sure it won't be, but I just don't really think it's too necessary. It's easy to look up stuff on your phone, on your computer, ask a friend. You can buy a strategy guide. I actually did buy a physical strategy guide for a game recently, and that's been like a pretty throwback thing, but I don't know how much assistance people need for a gaming coach/friend. It just doesn't seem like there's much of a need for that, but I could see this releasing and me saying, oh yeah, I never really wanted to try that, but whatever, it's there. And hopefully it's just not taking up too much user interface of any kind, because I don't think this is going to be something a lot of people use, but that is just my 2 cents. But Xbox has some co-pilot for gaming AI stuff coming out in the future. So more on the Xbox side, there's a game they released this year called Avowed that has been, I've heard really, really good things about Avowed, and there's a new update available for it now, so I just wanted to bring that up. They're saying additional talent points, high contrast documents, a walk toggle for PC, more HUD customization, third-person FOV slider, systems, and gameplay improvements, bug fixes, and more. This game, Avowed, released on February 18th, 2025, so just about a month ago. And in the game, if you don't know, the back of the box talk is "Welcome to the Living Lands, a mysterious island filled with adventure and danger." Set in the fictional world of Eora, that was first introduced to players in Pillars of Eternity franchise. Or if you listen to the Nextlander podcast, Benny was calling it the Pillows of Eternity franchise. So pretty funny, and I think they named their recent episode was the Pillows of Eternity. But Avowed is a first-person fantasy action RPG from the award-winning team at Obsidian Entertainment, and it seems like they built a really great game over there. I've heard a lot of people liken it to games like Skyrim or Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls games, and just a little bit more of a short, compact, I don't want to call it short because it's not like a 12-hour experience, but just shorter than a Elder Scrolls game. And I think a lot of people have said that kind of like in a positive way too. So Avowed seems like it's doing a really good thing. I guess Xbox has been on a little bit of a roll here. Indiana Jones, another game last year that was an exclusive to Xbox, early on. Avowed, kind of the same thing, even though it's on PC right now as well. But Microsoft and PC, or Xbox and PC, are almost one and the same at this point in time. And just nice to see some good things going on there with the Xbox, since I'm an Xbox fan. So what else is going on around the video game world? I just mentioned this game, but the Elder Scrolls Online, I mentioned the base series, but Elder Scrolls Online has a 2025 Direct that has been announced, and it's going to air on April 10th, 2025, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, the big one we're all looking forward to, or I'm looking forward to the most, is April 2nd for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and a week later you can get an Elder Scrolls Online Direct. I wish it was just an Elder Scrolls 2025 Direct with no online, but maybe they'll sneak some information in there. I'm not too hopeful, but you can check this out on twitch.tv/Bethesda, and I'll definitely keep you updated if there's any good information I think you need to know about the Elder Scrolls Online 2025 Direct. The studio head Matt Firor, F-I-R-O-R, and the team showcases the Elder Scrolls Online's future, And there's been talks about the Oblivion remaster, so I don't know if they would announce that during this show, but that has been heavily rumored throughout the year. I've definitely mentioned that a few times on the show, and something I would be interested to play. There was also the mod community was also building a version of an Oblivion remaster, so I don't know if that's fully released yet, but the world needs more Elder Scrolls. It's been a long time since we got Skyrim. I guess it was 2011, so it's been a really, really long time, and I would like some more Elder Scrolls. I'd say it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. Morrowind is probably my favorite out of all of them if I had to pick one. And the news there is Elder Scrolls Online 2025 Direct is taking place April 10th, 2025. So some more kind of like event news is a BlizzCon. So Blizzard is putting on BlizzCon. It's going to return again in 2026. So it's taking place September 12th through 13th is the announcement. It's taking place at the Anaheim Convention Center in California. Blizzard aims to meaningfully elevate this iconic celebration and create an unforgettable experience for all who take part in it. The last in-person BlizzCon was in 2023, and the prior to that was before 2020. So there was a long break there, and then the event was actually canceled completely for last year. So this is a little bit of a resurgence for BlizzCon, and it seems like they want to get this back on track for being an annual thing. So they're adding some things to it that they say are going to be meaningful, and hopefully can get back on the consistent train for people who are fans of BlizzCon. I've had some fun with Blizzard games in the past, and would expect to do so in the future as well. So BlizzCon is returning in 2026 is the news there. All right, some more kind of like businessy news a little bit. Pokemon Go is a video game, and Niantic has sold Pokemon Go along with its entire game business for $3.5 billion. So, just a little bit of money there. It was acquired by Scopely, the makers of Monopoly Go. And then a Niantic quote I found was, "We have reached an agreement for Scopely to acquire Pokemon Go, Pikmin Bloom, Monster Hunter Now, and the incredible teams working on these experiences." So I do find it interesting here that these are like Nintendo adjacent properties being sold off to a new company. So I wonder what Nintendo thinks about that. I don't think Nintendo owns the entire Pokemon franchise. I think I heard on Nintendo Voice Chat this week that they own a third of it. And maybe there's some like other licensing things in there, but they don't ultimately dictate what Pokemon can do. And I think that's pretty interesting and something I need to look a little more into the structure over there between Niantic and Game Freak and Nintendo all in the Pokemon deal. But there's some big business going on here, as you can see with Niantic selling Pokemon Go for $3.5 million. So I don't know too much about the mobile space and what the pros and cons are of this movement and what could possibly be. I'm not really too much of a mobile gamer, but that price tag definitely means a lot of people care about this, and we'll see what's going on with Pokemon Go in the future. All right, so something I mentioned last week that I want to just put on the record here, that I'm not a big dummy out here, but I want to pronounce this game correctly, and this game is Suikoden. I think I was calling it last week Suikoden, so I've been a little bit confused on this. I'm a little bit new to the franchise, but the Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster has been released. It came out on March 6, 2025. It's $49.99 US, PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. A hero's destiny is written in the stars. The legendary Konami JRPGs Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2 have been remastered in HD. So I wanted to clarify that because I went kind of confident. I think I saw how someone pronounce it, went with them. I was actually watching a good internet person and YouTube person, Heck and Steve. If you'd like to watch some enjoyable video game content, go check out Heck and Steve. And then he was pointing out that he was just figuring out how to pronounce it too. So that really got me on the trail of, oh man, I think I'm doing this incorrectly. And I went to the Google, to the Google Translate or whatever it may be, and got the AI to pronounce Suikoden for me. So just wanted to clarify that out here in the world, so we can all be pronouncing things correctly, and hopefully that is correct in itself. It could be bad information, I don't know, but it's my best shot at it. Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster is available now. So talking about some more RPGs, Chrono Trigger, one of the most critically acclaimed RPGs ever, something I'd like to play at some point, has turned 30. So Chrono Trigger is now 30, celebrating its 30th anniversary. It's the 1995 role-playing video game by Square for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It was the first entry in the Chrono series. This timeless masterpiece was a dream project by Dragon Quest Yuji Horii, and Dragon Ball's Akira Toriyama, and Final Fantasy's Hironobu Sakaguchi. So some pretty esteemed creators there, and just want to shout out Chrono Trigger 30th anniversary. I think the only way you can play this right now is on the Windows side of Steam, or you can play it on Nintendo DS or back on this SNES. So I would like to find a way to play this. I think the easiest way for me to do so would be to purchase on the Nintendo DS, and something I just want to play in the future, or hopefully it can get some type of updated release on the Switch would be nice, and I would be interested in playing some Chrono Trigger. Alright, so some more Nintendo. Well, yeah, I guess Chrono Trigger is pretty Nintendo-like, but staying on the Nintendo side of things, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is coming out in the upcoming week. So this releases on March 20th, 2025 for Nintendo Switch. The original release of this game is 2015. This is really one of the... There's not too many games on the Wii U that get clamored for to be updated on the Switch, or games that have not been updated to the Switch. So this is a pretty good thing. Rebuild humanity on the mysterious planet Mira. The year is 2054. And the back of the box talk in this game definitely is selling it very well. I really think this is cool. So we're talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. The year is 2054. Earth has been destroyed by an intergalactic war between two alien races, and humanity is on the brink of annihilation. A small number of survivors aboard the USS White Whale crash land on the vast and untamed planet Mira. Now it falls to you as a member of Blade, and BLADE is all capital, so you know it means something cool, to help bring back humanity from the edge of extinction with the aid of powerful giant robots called Skells. So I mean, everything there, how epic and how awesome does it sound, and you can just really just picture what's going to be going on in the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition world. And this is something I've had a big interest in, the Xenoblade franchise. I've just only played a little bit of them over time. This is, I think you either want to play the first game in the series, or I think you can actually play this one. I think this is kind of like set during the same time as Game 1, Xenoblade Chronicles, but it's in like an alternate timeline, an alternate universe, an alternate part of the world. So I think it's kind of like parallel to the first game. So not necessarily a prequel, but just something, not necessarily those same exact characters. And that is just kind of my understanding of it. So hopefully that's correct. But I think this game seems really cool. I have never played any of it, so something I could be enticed to pick up on March 20th, 2025 or later in the year. So some more Nintendo news to put on your radar. And this one's really good if you live on the west coast of the United States. A Nintendo store is opening May 15th in San Francisco. So this will be the second official store in the United States. The first one is in New York City. And details on reservation requirements and an early look at exclusive products will be shared as we approach the grand opening. So I would definitely like to go to a Nintendo store at some point. I think it would just be cool to see all that Nintendo stuff in one place. It would be really extra cool to buy something from there. And hopefully, something I could do in the future. So Nintendo store opening up in San Francisco on May 15th. More Nintendo news. There's a lot of it this week, and I'm definitely a big Nintendo fan. So Lego Super Mario Kart has been officially revealed, and it will release on May 15th. So wow, the opening of the new store in San Francisco, you can pick this up most likely. I don't wonder how many sets of this they're going to have. Hopefully a lot. It's going to cost $169.99 US. I'm sure it's going to sell like hotcakes, and that price is not going to matter. It's going to be sold immediately, and it's going to have 1,972 pieces for Lego Super Mario Kart. Definitely looks cool. Definitely will be nice to be displayed in someone's game room or something like that. I'm not really too much of a Lego person. I think they look cool, but not something I've ever been interested in. But definitely a lot of people are going to be. So Lego Super Mario Kart officially releases on May 15th. So get your dollars ready if you want to buy that. All 1,972 pieces. All right, so what else is going on for the midsection of the show this week? There's not too much except for the placeholder for Nintendo Switch 2 rumors that I'm holding at the end of the midsection every week until we get some Nintendo 2, until the console releases, and then maybe I'll talk about it here every week either way. But we want the rumors, we want the news, we want the speculation, and the ones I've heard this week are there have been, I think it was 280,000, 300,000 consoles estimated that have already been shipped to the US to prepare for the launch of the console. So that would say they're trying to get ahead of some of these console shortages. They're trying to get all their plans in place, which as a consumer and someone hoping to buy one of these, I would be ecstatic if that was the case. And this is going to be easy to pre-order on multiple sites on the release day, and they somehow figure that out. I would be extremely happy to get one of these. So that is the plan. We are waiting for the upcoming Nintendo Switch Direct, which is the Nintendo Switch 2. The upcoming Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2, which is taking place on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, 9 a.m. Eastern. So less than a month away, only a couple weeks away. And that's where we're going to, maybe get all the information that we're hoping for. So I really, really hope so. But up until then, we're just getting a bunch of rumors. I've heard the price point of $400 in the last week. I think I've heard that before and speculated on that. So I think that would be my guess if I had to, ultimately put it down. But so $400 $400 is a speculated rumor out there. A speculated rumor, that makes good sense. And then the other rumor I've heard this week is May 15th for a potential release date. So, get the announcement on April 2nd, have the pre-orders go up, and then have the console release in May. I mean, I'll be doing the happy dance out here on the streets. So Nintendo Switch 2 rumors are getting pretty hot. I think there were rumors of, there's been rumors of GameCube stuff coming to the Nintendo Switch Online. And RGT85, a YouTuber, was talking about that. I don't know if there was any concrete evidence or was something like data mine that he was just speculating on, but he did bring up that there was some new information or some new potential for this being a reality. So something I would like to see. GameCube is one of my favorite consoles of all time, and definitely would be nice to have some of those games easily accessible on Nintendo Switch Online. So I'm trying to rack my brain just before we end the midsection here of what else is going on with Nintendo Switch 2. But hopefully that's how it's going to go. So I'm going to lay it out right here. The ultimate hope for Nintendo Switch 2. On April 2nd, 2025, we're going to get the announcement. It's going to talk about the backwards compatibility. It's all going to be great. It's all going to be bigger and better. They're going to announce some software that we want. The software is going to be only exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, which I think will be the case. I'm a little bit iffy on that. Are they going to have a downgraded version for the prior consoles? I don't know. I don't know if that would entice enough people to get it. So I'm going to say they're going to have some games that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch that you're really, really going to want to buy, at least one or two of them. And they're going to kind of bring back a little bit of a launch lineup that we've missed sometimes from these consoles. Maybe the last time we had a great launch lineup was Nintendo Switch 1. So maybe we should expect that for 2. So April 2nd, 2025, we get the hardware specs. It's all just going to be bigger and better. We're going to get the launch lineup. There's going to be a Mario Kart, maybe another surprise in there that's really, really exciting. Maybe some third-party stuff in there, just round it out to be some really, really nice stuff to want to buy on Nintendo Switch 2. And then there's maybe the announcement of GameCube for Nintendo Switch Online. Then maybe they're going to announce the pre-orders that day. So you can go pre-order the console. It's going to be $350 maybe, would be nice. Maybe $400 at a max. And then it's going to release in May. That's the hope. So there we go. That is what we're going to say here on the Dep Lewis Show we need to happen for Nintendo Switch 2. And I am all aboard. So let's just hope for some good Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, and I will keep you updated on this show each week with what is going on with the Nintendo Switch 2. So that is everything I have for you for the midsection this week for all the video game news and information you need to know. Just to summarize, we talked about Death Stranding 2 on the Beach has a new trailer and officially announced for June 26, 2025. MLB The Show 25 releases on March 18th. PlayStation Store has a big sale going on until March 26th. Xbox handheld in the rumors. Xbox Next Gen console in the rumors. Xbox AI Copilot for gaming is seemingly a real thing and going to be trying to help people soon enough. Avowed has a new update available right now. The Elder Scrolls Online 2025 Direct is happening April 10th. BlizzCon is returning in 2026, more specifically September 12th through the 13th. Niantic has sold Pokemon Go to Scopely. Suikoden is how you pronounce that game, and the remaster of 1 and 2 is out right now for Suikoden. Chrono Trigger, happy 30th birthday. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition releases in the upcoming week for Nintendo Switch on March 20th. Nintendo Store opens May 15th in San Francisco. Lego Super Mario Kart officially releases May 15th. And we talked about all the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors going on, that there's consoles already being shipped to North America. It's going to be $400. It's going to release in May, and it's going to be amazing. So that's everything I have for you for the midsection this week, all the video game information that I saw this week that I think is really, really cool and want to bring to you. And I'll be back next week to do the same thing in this section as always. So, just thank you for listening to the midsection. And we have one final section coming up after this break. It's going to be the miscellaneous talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. And as always, I'm going to keep you up to date with the worldwide world of sports and what's going on with my favorite teams. And I got to say, I'm really, really delighted with one of my teams this week. And I'm just going to be excited to talk about it in this last section. So, go take a quick break and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 120, after this music. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 120. This is the miscellaneous talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So I want to get into the worldwide world of sports and tell you what is going on with my favorite teams out there. And starting off with the NFL and the Carolina Panthers, they did a really amazing thing this week. There's been a lot of free agency stuff going down, and there's been something I've been clamoring for on this podcast for many, many weeks, and they actually did it. So I just want to commend the Panthers on actually making a really, really great decision, in my opinion, and making, at least this one fan extremely happy. And they have signed J.C. Horn to a contract extension. They have hit J.C. Horn with the extendo. I've been saying on this podcast weekly, say something about this until it happens, and it's happened. And it happened in a big way. They paid him 4 years, $100 million extension with $70 million guaranteed. Clap it up for J.C. Horn out there, the highest paid DB in NFL history. And just congratulations to him. Well deserved, well earned. The right place at the right time. Need to keep him on the team. One of the building blocks on the defense. Great player. He's been injured, but all players get injured. He played all last season. He's a very, very young guy. And give the man a chance to ball for the Carolina Panthers. And they have given him the chance to ball for at least 4 more years. I guess it's 5 years total because we had him for this year too. So a 4-year extendo, paying J.C. Horn very, very handsomely. And he is one of the most fun players to watch on the field for the Panthers on both sides of the ball. If you're in the building watching or on TV, watching J.C. Horn is never disappointing, and I'm glad to be able to do so for an additional 4 years with the contract extension. So way to go, Panthers. I think you've been making some amazing moves. I think there's been a lot of downtimes recently in history, but, everything has ebbs and flows, and hopefully you were just having, somewhat more positive than negatives, but even, you just got to appreciate the good times either way because they can be fleeting. You just never know. So the Panthers hopefully having some good momentum going into the next season. I think it's a huge season for Bryce Young is the main thing. I think this has been a great season not to have to worry about the quarterback position. I think if Bryce plays poorly next year, it can bring all those questions right back up to the forefront, but I'd say it's totally in control of the team and Bryce, and to have a really great year and put him in a position where we can just erase those questions for the Carolina Panthers for a long time. It's like some of these other teams have with their quarterbacks, like Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or numerous quarterbacks around the league. Those are some of the best ones. Lamar Jackson, no one's going into the offseason thinking about replacing them, and I really hope Bryce Young can get onto that category as well. And just thank you for paying J.C. Horn. Thank you for paying J.C. Horn. All the Gamecocks are happy. All the Carolina Panther fans are happy. I guess some Saints fans are happy because J.C.'s dad played for the Horns and was a really, really, really great player, great receiver, and just way to go, Panthers. So the Panthers have made a lot of other moves this week, a lot of other ones that I am happy about, so I want to bring up some of them. One I'm equally happy about is Mike Jackson. He signed a 2-year deal for $14.5 million with the Panthers, cornerback. So we got JC and Mike paid very nicely. And Mike Jackson was one when he was playing with the Panthers last year, I was a little bit questionable on him. He was very, very feisty always, and you could tell he was working hard, but he was, making some errors out there in my opinion. And he I don't know if he got better, if I just started noticing more, but he really balled out for the Panthers last year, and he was one of those guys that was fun to watch out there as well. He was, every once in a while he was in a really big play and just doing some really good things, being very noticeable out there on the field. And they noticed it as well and paid him for 2 years, $14.5 million, which I think is definitely his biggest payday in the NFL, and hopefully he'll continue to get more of those. So, and we're going to get him hopefully that's an inexpensive deal for Mike Jackson in the future. So, go Panthers. I think that's another very smart move, and it seems like a great deal money-wise for both sides. Even though, wish Mike could get up there with the J.C. Horn money. Wish all these players that I like could get paid. Johnny Hekker is one that, I don't know, I did feel a little bit sad about this one. He signed with the Titans. So I think he signed over there for a year. Maybe they paid him more than the Panthers wanted to. The Panthers did keep his, I don't know if I want to call him a sidekick, but his partner in crime, J.J. Hansen, the long snapper. But it's going to be a little bit sad to see Hekker go. I know he got paid a good bit of money from Carolina, so maybe they should have decided finally, hey, we can't really slot this type of money again to the punter. And, maybe that's okay. Hopefully it was a kind of a good mutual parting. But, Johnny Hecker's done a lot of punting for the Panthers over his time there. They haven't really been the greatest team while he's been there, so his services have been really, really needed. And he's definitely another noticeable guy when you go to the games especially. He's, hyping up the crowd. He seems like a good guy out there. He seems like he has good energy, and I think that is valuable on the team as well. So, bringing that experience to the Titans, who are definitely growing. The Panthers are growing as well, but Hecker's been here for a good while. So, shout out to Hekker, getting some more money out there, and that is a great thing. One thing I'm definitely sad about, Shaq Thompson. This was a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to bring it up again in this free agency talk. Shaq Thompson was released a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he's been picked up yet. I wonder if the Panthers would bring him back on, some type of, test the market and come back and we'll give you this deal. But, he's one of those guys I was just kind of talking about. I think you want on the sideline in your locker room, has a lot of experience, and is a really, really great player when he's healthy on the field. So something he hasn't been for a while. He's had some bad injuries, and he's getting up there in age, but who knows? He might still have something to give. What am I to say? And what am I to predict the future? I don't know. I don't think I can do that. But Shaq Thompson, all the best wishes to him. He was an extremely fun player to watch, and one of my favorite Panthers for sure. All right, another Panther. We're going over roster news for the Carolina Panthers. They released Miles Sanders, which I think is probably for the best. They released him to free up cap space. They paid him some pretty good money. I would say his performance with the Panther was underwhelming. He was injured some of it, but he definitely showed flashes of being a good player. I think he's still a relatively young guy, so hopefully, you don't want to say the change of scenery can help, but I don't think Miles Sanders is all the way cooked or anything like that. Maybe the change of location, change of scheme, change of usage, all those kind of things. Fresh start might be better. And Panthers saving space on somebody who's been kind of underperforming for them, and they might be looking just to go younger. I think this is probably okay. So, decent parting. Had a lot of hope when Miles Sanders came in. Definitely had some flashes, and hopefully can continue to be, successful in the NFL. So some other players the Panthers have added, some of these I'm not all the way most familiar with, but they've added a safety. I believe he was from the Ravens, Morig. A defensive tackle, Bobby Brown III, and that was a pretty big pickup. Outside linebacker, Patrick Jones II. I think he might have been the one from the Ravens, but I'm not sure. Maybe they both were. Tershawn Wharton, a defensive lineman. Christian Roseboom, a linebacker. Running back Rico Dowdle from the Cowboys. And then they picked up punter Sam Martin. So some other things they've done. They re-signed center Austin Corbett. They re-signed offensive lineman Brady Christensen. They re-signed Dan Chisena. I'm not really too familiar with him, but he might have been a fringe receiver on the main roster or a lower roster guy. They re-signed Andy Dalton. That happened a little while ago. And they re-signed long snapper J.J. Jansen. So they also reworked the Adam Thielen deal. So I believe this will be his 12th or 11th year in the NFL. And he's going to spend it with the Panthers again. And the Panthers have the 8th pick overall in the 2025 draft. So, all the roster moves, I think the Panthers are making some good decisions. I'm pretty glad to see they haven't made a huge free agency signing from someone outside the building. I'm hoping that all these signings they have made will just be, solid contributors to the roster. I'm not trying to, flip the script on day one, just a lot of solid contributors, and hopefully it can build into be something, special down the road. So I think, it seems like all some really good plans here going on, minus losing a few guys and, maybe that's not getting a splash signing that would be fun, but, I don't know how necessary that is at this point in time. But, really, really congrats to J.C. Horn getting paid. Congrats on the Panthers for keeping him. I think that's a great situation for both parties, and it is an excellent situation for me as a fan of the Panthers and J.C. Horn, and just really, really awesome. So I'm glad to hear that happened, and I will continue to talk about things I want to happen on this podcast, because you never know, they may come true, and then you'll be happy. So go Panthers. That's all the NFL news I have for you for this week. All right, let's talk about some NBA stuff, and let's talk about some NBA stuff. So what happened with the Hornets last week? The Charlotte Hornets. I'm a halfway fan of them since I live in North Carolina now. And last Monday, they played at Miami. The Hornets won 105-102. At Atlanta on Wednesday, the Hornets lost 110-123, so they lost against my favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks. Friday at San Antonio, the Hornets won 145-134. So, a pretty good week for the Hornets. And that game with the Spurs wasn't really that close. I think, that's 11 points at the end, but it was really out of hand. I turned it on and was really surprised that the Hornets were, going to work against the Spurs. The Wemby-less Spurs, but, still, the Hornets haven't been winning a lot of games, so nice to see. The Hornets play today at the Clippers. I don't know what time. I'm recording this podcast right now. It's around lunchtime, so sometime later today I might check that game out. Hornets at the Clippers. And then next week, the Hornets have Atlanta, Knicks, OKC, and Miami on the docket. And I'm going to be at that game where the Hawks come to North Carolina. They go to Charlotte go to the Spectrum Center to battle I think it's called the Barbecue Bowl or something like that. The Hawks have won the first 2 of the season. Or I guess first 3 now. So they're looking for the sweep on the season, I believe is the case there. So the Hawks are going to be in Charlotte this upcoming Tuesday for a huge showdown. So my favorite NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks, in the past week, the Hawks have done some winning. They beat Philly on Monday, 132-123. Wednesday versus the Hornets. So yeah, they played last week, 123-110. Friday versus the Clippers, the Hawks lost 98-121. So a pretty big beat down there. And the Hawks play today as well, Sunday at Brooklyn. So I got 2 basketball games to check in with today, so that's very exciting. And then next week, the Hawks are at Charlotte, like I mentioned, Golden State, and Philly. So I'll be able to report back to you next week how the Hornets and the Hawks game ends up going, and I just hope for a really good game. I'm going to probably be wearing some Hornet stuff because I don't want to upset the Charlotte fans, but I'll be cheering for the Hawks on the down low. I think it's my cowards playing out here. So having some fun with the NBA, and just excited to see my teams get some wins. I don't think they have too much hopes before doing anything like making noise for the finals this year. But I think the Hawks can get into the playoffs, and the Hornets really just need to win some games for their own psyche. So that is my hope there. But my favorite sport of all time, Major League Baseball, starting in this upcoming week. There is it starts this week. The opening series is the Dodgers and the Cubs in Tokyo, March 18th and 19th. And then we have to wait for the rest of the regular season to start on March 27th. But there's going to be regular season baseball taking place in this upcoming week, just 2 days away. And I am beyond excited for it. But my favorite team in the Major League Baseball is the Atlanta Braves. We just got spring training going on right now. The first game of the season for the Braves is at the Padres, March 27, 2025, followed by at the Dodgers, then in Atlanta versus Miami. So some really, really great stuff going on there. Excited for the baseball season to start. I drafted my fantasy baseball team last week. I got a lot of returning favorites from my fantasy squads. I've added some new ones and also got a lot of Atlanta Braves, so that's a pretty good thing. I got Corbin Carroll in the first round. I got Ronald Acuna Jr., my favorite player in the universe. I've never had him in fantasy before, I don't believe. And I cannot believe I got him. He was going in the third round in a lot of drafts, but I had to take him second round because people were trying to snipe him. Friends in real life and friends of the show, trying to snipe my favorite players as always. But I also got Money Mike. I got Corbin Burns. I got Pablo Lopez. I got Josh Naylor, who balled out for me last year. I got a lot of Diamondbacks on my team. I got Max Fried, former Brave. I got Spencer Strider. I got Shea Langoliers, former Brave. And I got Sean Murphy, the injured Braves catcher, but he could hopefully come back and be healthy after this little delayed start to the season is my hope there. So I'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on with my fantasy baseball team, as I like to do. I've never finished higher than halfway through the league. We've started playing these, $5 entry prize leagues on Yahoo, and they're pretty competitive. And I don't think, there's 12 people in the league, and I don't think I've ever finished higher than 6. Maybe I got a 5th place finish at one point. We've been doing this for at least 3 or 4 years, maybe at this point. I don't know, maybe more, but been having some fun with the fantasy baseball, and the sports stuff is going really, really great. So, excited for all the sports, excited for the March Madness. I believe those brackets come out today. So usually with a group of friends, have a little bracket, battle of the brackets each year. And I believe I'm coming off a win last year. I think I won the brackets last year. So that could be incorrect. It might have been 2 years ago, but I've been a recent winner of the brackets, which I have never been for a long time in my life. So just something nice to check off the list as I get older out here in my silly sports fandom. But that's everything going on in the sports world. Talked about all my favorite teams, the Panthers, the Hornets, the Hawks, the Braves. Baseball starts in the upcoming week for a 2-game tease of a series, and then it really, really starts on March 27th. So that is all the sports news you need to know. And just thank you for listening to the show. That's actually going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section, and it's going to wrap up the entire Dep Lewis Show, episode 120. So just thank you for being a listener. I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show. So thank you for being a listener. If you're listening in real time today, if you really, really catch this podcast quick, I should be streaming some games this afternoon, probably playing some Breath of the Wild. So look out for me on Sundays. I think that's the plan. Listen to the podcast on Sunday if you want to in real time, and then catch out a stream later that day. So that is the plan, or you can listen to this podcast whenever you feel like it. And I appreciate you listening to it whenever you do. So I hope you have a great week out there in the world. I hope some things go your way. I hope it is a positive week. I hope you become very, very rich. I hope you get a whole lot of new video games. I hope all your teams win. And I hope you come back to listen to another episode of Dep Lewis Show next week, because that is where I will be. Just have a good week out there in the world. And I will see you next time.